to the podcast, the highly anticipated Jabronies podcast. It's finally happening after all this time, all this build-up.
Yeah.
And now the whole world is watching. So, I'm your host. You got Thing 1 over here, and then I got my wonderful co-host Thing 2.
Thing 2.
We got Jack and Carson from the Jabronies podcast. You know, and that reminds me when we went to that game store today. We walked in, and the first thing they said is, "Holy shit, is that Jack and Carson from the Jabronies podcast?"
Yeah, man. I'm like, what can I say?
Yeah,
you know?
It was like, that was a crazy experience for me. It was the first time I've been like recognized in public. But
it's a hard life being this famous, you know?
Yeah, it's different. Speaking of famous people, I want to get right into this Jake Paul conversation.
Oh gosh.
Because that shit was really soul crushing for me to watch.
Yeah.
Did you watch the actual fight?
Yeah, I watched it. I didn't watch any of the before or after.
Yeah, I just watched like the highlight that was on YouTube.
Uploaded the full fight on the YouTube, and I'm like, sick.
Well, it wasn't a long fucking fight. You didn't really have to sit through too much.
Yeah.
It was literally like a 30-second fight. And it's like, from my perspective, what I saw was Ben Askren trying to give Jake Paul a kiss, and then Jake Paul fucking knocked his lights out. And I don't think that Ben Askren like really needs the money necessarily, but I do feel like he kind of just did it for the money, because he walked out with like $1 million bag.
I mean, it was a win-win for him no matter what.
Yeah.
He didn't have to win. He didn't have to lose. It didn't matter for him, you know?
I feel like he literally just went in there like wanting to just get it over with.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was totally content with getting knocked out.
Yeah.
And I Critical uploaded a video about it, I think today, and at least at the time of recording this. And he was talking about how, like, when Ben lost and he was like walking out with his wife and whatever, he was like smiling ear to ear. He was like totally content.
I mean, you would too if you secured that bag, you know
Bruh,
what I'm saying?
If I had to get fucking socked in the mouth, but I got $1 million afterwards, I'd fucking get socked in the mouth. That's totally fine with me.
But like you said, it was soul crushing though, because like been waiting so long to see Jake Paul just be humbled, one time. Yeah,
because when I saw that he was actually going up against an actual MMA fighter, I was like, finally, like, he can get his ass kicked.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, finally. But, like, I hate to admit it to myself because I hate Jake Paul with such a passion, but he is a good boxer.
He's not bad.
He is an actual good boxer. Like, but at the same time, like, I don't know, just how he acts just pisses me off on such like a personal level.
I mean, it's so angering because he's like a role model for
kids,
the youths.
Yeah, and that's a scary thing too, because like he's not Disney Channel Jake Paul anymore. Now he's like Conor McGregor, I'm gonna fuck your wife, Jake Paul. Yeah, he's made quite the shift. And I don't know if you've heard, but he's also got sexual assault allegations now.
Really?
Yeah, and he claims that they're false. Of course.
Yeah.
But he also said that he was going to take legal action. Like, he's going to try and clap these cheeks. That I shouldn't say that in this context. But yeah, I don't know. I just absolutely fucking despise him, and I was so excited to watch him get his shit rocked, and it was nothing. It wasn't even a fight.
Yeah.
And there's so many people on like Twitter and stuff that are talking about how they think it's rigged. And I mean, maybe. I don't know about rigged. I can buy the idea that Ben went in just not giving a fuck and just wanted the money. That I can buy. I don't think it was like some like plot though, like between all the parties involved,
See,
I don't think it was that.
But the ref stopped the fight like immediately, like he got right back up.
Yeah, he was a little wobbly, but like he was back in it.
Yeah. I don't know. And I mean, like, he's a fighter, but he's not a boxer,
True.
Like,
yeah, that's one thing to keep in mind with these fights is like taking an MMA fighter and putting him in a boxing ring. Like, boxing is an aspect of MMA.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like your sole focus is on that.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know if you were into MMA Ronda Rousey was a thing, but she was like just taking out everybody left and right.
Yeah, she was a savage.
She was, more of a grappler, but then she fought Holly Holmes, who was a boxer, and she got her shit rocked,
Right.
I mean, it's when you're not equipped for that. It's
wasn't
hard to compete.
Wasn't it Conor McGregor and like Floyd Mayweather fought? Mayweather just like kicked his ass.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because and like Conor was super cocky with that fight too. Like he was talking about how he was gonna kick his ass. Mm-hmm. But like you're not a boxer, Conor.
Yeah.
So.
And that's the thing is like, yeah, Jake Paul has won all of his fights or whatever, but
he's only had, this is his third one.
Yeah.
At least professionally.
He has yet to fight somebody who can actually box, He'll fight anybody other than a boxer.
That's true, yeah.
So it's like, kind of hard to give him any credit because, he boxed a YouTuber, a basketball player, right?
Yeah.
And then a retired overweight MMA fighter. Like,
yeah. It was so funny.
He was not in shape to fight either.
Did you hear the Snoop Dogg was one of the commentators for that fight? Did you hear the commentator? Oh, hold on.
I didn't.
Just even the viewers can consume this too, because this is some fucking gold.
Didn't one of them say that he looked like a bag of milk?
Yeah. One of them was like the match started. He's like, God, I'm gonna come so hard.
Yeah, they're not like, I don't know. It's weird.
I'm sorry, there's an ad.
Here we go. About to come. Oh, it's about to go down. Waste no time and get to it and do it. Here we go.
Why are you gonna bust, bro?
It's really weird and like
that same guy was talking about how much he's looking forward to them kissing. Kind of sus, bro.
Kind of sus.
I don't know about that.
Imposter.
Shit. But there's also did you see? Before the fight, there was like all these like interviews with the two fighters and stuff, where like they just like sit and chat, whatever. Mm-hmm. And Jake Paul like would just like keep throwing like just lowball garbage at him, all the time. And
sexy.
Thanks. And Ben would just like talk to him like a normal adult, and like completely shoot him down. And it was like for Jake, that was the most embarrassing shit to watch.
Yeah.
But then watching Ben get absolutely fucking annihilated, like that's just as embarrassing, man.
I don't know. I mean, at the end, I still like him more as a person, and I have leagues more respect for him.
I mean, like without question, yeah.
I mean, because Jake Paul, at the end of the day, he's a child. He's got the mental and emotional capacity of a child.
Right. And I mean, at the end of the day, it still goes back to Ben that got that bag, and I really think at the end of the day, that's all they really gave a fuck about.
Yeah.
Like, I really don't know why. Like, you as an MMA fighter, I feel like you going up against somebody like Jake Paul, with the status that he has as, like, big YouTube guy, whatever, like, that's already, your reputation is going down a notch. Mm-hmm. I feel, at least in the fighting world, I feel like that would be looked down upon. So, like, that's kind of a pussy fight,
Yeah.
But, with how big of a bag that was, man... Shit, I'd take the fucking dump on my dignity, man.
Yeah.
I would totally do it. I can't blame him. Mm-hmm. But I still hate Jake Paul, regardless. Yep. I look forward to the day that he gets out of his brother's shadow.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know if that's even going to happen. And his brother is the Suicide Forest guy. like that's one thing, too, is, like, that man, like, both of them are somehow on top of the world, and they fuck up all the time.
Yeah, but somehow they're still around, and
they just keep going.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's some crazy shit.
Like, I don't know. It is impressive how they like maintain to stay relevant no matter what.
True, that's true. Yeah, they are very good at adapting to like what's in demand in the YouTube world. They're very good at keeping that steady.
Yeah. Which,
I mean, is admirable, but they just, like, the way that they go about it is just so fucking, I don't know. I mean, like, when we were kids, I mean, like, Fred was huge. Like, Fred is, like, some fucking ooga booga big brain shit,
Yeah.
And even that, looking back on it, like, that was some pretty dog shit content. But Fred wasn't like taking advantage of kids and taking videos of.
Yeah.
And when I say taking advantage of kids, like, Jake Paul had that one fucking scandal where he was. Don't quote me on this because I don't know off the top of my head. I have to look it up. But he did some bullshit where he was like scamming kids. Mm-hmm. So you got a guy like that, and then like Logan Paul with his fucking Suicide Forest shit, whatever. Like, say what you want about Fred, but to my knowledge, Fred didn't do any of that shit. So.
Yeah, I mean, there seems to be like a large separation between YouTubers who make content out of passion, and ones like Jake and Logan Paul and Rice Gum and whatever.
Fucking Rice Gum.
Irrelevant! They're only in it for the money, and it's so apparent. And they always get caught up in some kind of drama or backlash or whatever. But then you got these people who have made content only for out of passion, and they seem to always stay out of it for the most part.
I want to talk about PewDiePie for a sec, because I find it absolutely fucking incredible that he does what he does. I haven't watched PewDiePie for a while now, admittedly, but even so, the amount of content that he produces, and it's still pretty good. Like, when I tune into a video every once in a while, it's still like really nice stuff. Mm-hmm. But like, he still does daily uploads, and he has no reason to. Like, I've seen him say before that he, like, at this point he's just doing it because he likes to do it. Mm-hmm. And like, that's incredible that you can keep up like the fan base, the business side, and like still enjoy it at that breakneck pace like that. Yeah, that's fucking nuts, man.
And I mean, he's on top of the world. Like, he doesn't have to. Yeah, I'm sure he doesn't have to keep doing it.
No, he definitely doesn't. I mean, it's just crazy. I wonder how he's doing with like demonetization and stuff now, because after he crossed that bridge, after that I feel like he got hit pretty hard with demonetization and stuff, because YouTube does not like bridges either. Yeah. But since then I feel like he's bounced back really hard, and he's so good about taking a joke too, because I've seen I watched one of his live streams once. I tuned in, and somebody made a joke about him crossing a bridge, and he thought it was funny. He was still like, that's kind of low. Like, let's not talk about that again. Mm-hmm. But like, he still can take that stuff, and I think that's cool. Yeah.
So many people can't handle that. They get stuff brought up, and they freak out and
or like instantly go into defensive mode. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like with some of those cases of, especially when it comes to like PewDiePie said the fucking N-word crossing the bridge. You know? I don't remember exactly how that went down, but just being like, I fucked up, I'm sorry. Like, it was so stupid. I shouldn't have said it, but it came out of my mouth. I can't take it back. Like, I don't know what you want, right? And like, I don't think that PewDiePie is a racist person myself for saying it. Was it dumb? Yeah, for sure. But like, so many people instantly go into like YouTuber apology mode and like sit down in front of the camera and like
make themselves cry.
Yeah, they start out the video and they go
every time,
"Hey everybody." It's always some fucking, you can tell that it's fucking scripted, I guess. Or at least it's catered that way. Yeah. Did you hear about all the David Dobrik shit that went on?
It was like some kind of sexual assault thing.
Yep, right? a fucking another one. When I looked into it myself, he definitely fucked up really bad. And what makes it interesting is that he made one apology, and it was like on a second channel with like way less of a following than his main one. And he also like disabled comments and stuff on it. So everybody was like, okay, like you're hiding from this hardcore. Yeah. So he got canceled then for that. And then he made another apology video. But he only made the other apology video after his sponsors started pulling out. So then people begged the question, like, does he actually really give a fuck, or is he just starting to care because of all the sponsors?
So, okay, so what was the situation? Because I didn't see too much about it.
One of David's friends supposedly had sex with this girl while she was drunk. And there's, in one of David's deleted vlogs, it's David's recording, and it's his buddy and this supposed victim on the couch. They're sitting like right next to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And David like asked them if they had consensual sex, and the girl was like, I was drunk. And then his buddy was like, yeah, I was drunk too, so it's consensual. And then David's like, oh, no, it's not. You know, gosh. How you fucking... Yeah. So there was also a thing where one of the guys, Jeff, the girls were underage. Not like child underage, but like they weren't old enough to drink.
Mm-hmm.
And then he got brought into it because he was supposedly the one that bought the alcohol.
Oh, yeah. I heard about that, I think.
And then he denied that, but then people started bringing up receipts that were like, I don't know, bro. Like, it's not looking too good for you either. So, I don't know, man. It's like, I don't know how it just, like, keeps happening. Like, maybe it's just, like, the Twitter cancel mob.
Yeah.
That just, like, it fishes it out. But it's crazy the amount of people that I've seen just getting like completely fucked.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, well deserved, don't get me wrong, you know, if this or that is true, these bad things that they do. But it's just like it feels like every other day it's a new scandal.
Yeah.
Somebody new is fucked up.
And I mean, to be fair, I feel like nobody really has all the facts either.
That's true. Yeah.
But you know,
with like David's case, it's kind of hard to, you know, like not completely shit on him because he literally has in his fucking stupid vlog like, oh, it's not consensual, Dom. You know,
caught on camera.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm very curious to see how this Jake Paul thing goes. I'm not gonna jump on the mob because, you know, there isn't everything out yet, obviously. And I do hate the guy, but I'm not gonna assume that he's a fucking predator.
Yeah.
Until it comes out that way. As much as I do hate him, I still hope he hasn't done something like that though.
I mean, nothing's probably gonna happen to him. He's probably gonna go on with his life and whatever, because there's so many awful people out there who never get caught, and especially famous ones who do just horrible things, and they just are able to just skate by without any kind of punishment.
Yeah, that's true. Speaking of, I have on my list here. This is something that I forgot about. I have what the fuck happened to Macklemore written here, and I wrote that down because when I was browsing the YouTubes, I got a video on my recommended that was like the GQ 10 things Macklemore can't live without, and it was uploaded like a month ago, something like that. I was like, what the fuck, like Macklemore, when have you been around?
Yeah,
it's been a fucking while.
He exists still.
Yeah, he's still fucking around, and he looks goofy too.
Really?
Hold on. Yeah, editor. And by editor, I mean future self. Fucking put up a picture of what Macklemore looks like now, because it's different. You wouldn't recognize him.
That's the same dude.
This is the same guy. This is
what the heck? He looks so goofy.
And we danced guy, the thrift shop guy.
Yeah, he has definitely hit his midlife crisis. It looks like the mustache is not working for him. Oh my gosh!
When he got the fro, that was a good look. You know who's really talented that was pretty popular around the time of Macklemore? Motherfucking T-Pain, bro. T-Pain? Like, I wasn't the biggest fan of his tunes back in the day. Mm-hmm. But the man has undeniable talent. Like, have you seen him sing like without the auto-tune?
Dog, if I'm gonna be real with you, I could not name one song that T-Pain has made. I don't even know what the guy looks like.
Well, he's the auto-tune guy. Like, if you like picture Like, you know who Akon is?
Yes, the auto-tune guy.
He's the auto-tune guy. The original one. You know what? Okay. Motherfucker. Now I gotta fucking look up T-Pain.
Copyright.
No, worry, I'll make it work.
Oh, okay.
This is, yeah.
Yeah, so that's T-Pain, huh?
That's T-Pain, bro. And he has such a beautiful voice. And he does Twitch streaming now. And he will just like randomly start freestyling and shit. And he's so good. He's so good.
Bro, I've heard like a lot of artists like that who use auto-tune or whatever, and you think they'd be bad normally, but then you hear them talk like, or I mean, you hear them sing naturally, and you're
angelic
like,
voices.
wow.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of more like that, but I've actually been listening to a lot of Playboi Carti lately.
Oh gosh.
I know, but like, picture it being like Omega faded.
Mm-hmm.
It's like really late at night, and you turn on Location by Playboi Carti. The viewers know what I'm talking about. They've heard it.
Yeah.
For sure. Like, that shit, it's honestly not that bad. I used to be I don't like his new album, but like, and like, of course, lyrically, it's a lot of like, she gave me top of the drop. Yep. But he's got a vibe, man.
I've never been able to get into music that like, I'm sure there's some kind of talent in there, but it just sounds like incoherent.
It is hard to sit and tell what he's saying a lot of the time. I'll give you that for sure. But he's also funny too. I think he's kind of funny.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't keep up with like a lot of the new artists. It's just like,
I've just been so just sick of like the same loop of tunes that I've been listening to for a while now. So I'm trying to branch out a little bit and try stuff that I don't normally like. I still won't touch country unless it's Johnny Cash.
You got him, man.
I did.
It's
fuck country, bro.
No,
fuck country. Old country, maybe.
You gotta listen to that
like,
good outlaw country.
Fucking like
Johnny Cash,
Click My Boots,
Waylon Jennings, bro. Like,
well, okay, but that's different. I gotta specify more. Like, when I'm talking country, I mean like fucking like Florida Georgia Line type shit. Like, that shit makes me want to hurt myself.
Yeah, no, I completely get what you're saying.
There's
such a broad like amount of country that's just absolute.
Yeah. And now
like,
too,
horrendous.
At work when I'm driving the fucking work van, somebody that I fucking work with keeps changing the radio to the country radio, right? And like, I've been hearing all of these random songs, like they're country, but now they're starting to put like trap music hi-hats and stuff in it.
Yeah.
And like, anybody who wants to listen, check out my Spotify, Jimmy Hill, or on my YouTube channel as well. Link in the description. But, as somebody myself who puts fucking hi-hats in a bunch of stuff, because I make music, I still don't understand why every song, it feels, needs to have hi-hats. I mean, of course that's an exaggeration, but like, you know the ones that I'm talking about though, like the fucking, just the classic fucking 808 drum kit hi-hat. That little fucking tick, all of them. And why the fuck would country music have that shit?
It shouldn't, but it's turned into such a, I don't know, industry.
It's like a standard almost.
Yeah.
And I mean,
an industry plant that it's just become so. I don't know. I'm having a stroke right now.
Oh, we're good. I mean, it's got that mass appeal. I feel like it's just like at this point, it's kind of a commercial thing. It becomes more youthful if you put hi-hats in it. Not a little baby man if you got a hi-hat in your song.
It's just like, I don't know. It's all just like a quick cash grab, just catchy earworm songs or whatever that just. You tap your foot to if you've got 5 brain cells.
Well, but even that, like, Oh, of course, it's all based on opinion, but most of those country songs, I just feel like the hooks are just so similar to each other.
Yeah.
Just structurally, it's like that earworm can only be an earworm to a certain extent. You know, if I hear the same, what at least feels like the same vocal pattern all the time, like even with rappers, like if you want to argue that like all trap artists sound the same, like I guess if you really wanted to delve into that one, but like each individual rapper I feel has like a very unique voice for the most part. Mm-hmm. You know, like listening to like Kendrick Lamar compared to Playboi Carti, it's a world of a difference.
Yeah.
You know, whereas in country, if you were to play me two separate artists, at least, you know, based on this modern day country shit, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
See, there is good modern country artists, but it's hard to find compared to how much just bad country there is.
Right, yeah.
Before anybody thinks that I'm just, you know, some kind of yeehaw country boy, I listen to all kinds of music. I'm not just...
My boy's got taste. I
like every genre, you know. Yeah. I'll sit down and listen to rap 1 second, and the next second I'll be jamming to some Beethoven, you know.
You do. I have caught you listening to Beethoven before.
I love Beethoven.
That shit was fucking glorious.
Beethoven's my boy.
Yeah. I'm more of like a jazz person than I am like a classical person myself.
I love both, man.
Yeah. I appreciate classical music, but it's not something that like even like here looking at my turntable in the back, like I'd rather throw on a jazz record than a classical record.
It really depends on the mood. I feel like certain moods, like, I don't know, I think classical music is so good at like creating feelings. Sure. And jazz is so good at setting a vibe, you know?
I see you. I see what you're saying.
Jazz sets a mood, and classical sets an emotion.
Right.
And gives, you know, a response, you know?
I get you. I mean, because Beethoven was, like, one of the first guys to really, like, put emotion in music. Like, you could really feel. What's the, fuck, I don't know the names. That one.
You know,
I know that's like the most like fucking bandwagon Beethoven song, but like how he was able to express himself through that is really incredible, honestly.
And like I don't know if you listen to Moonlight Sonata, it's such a like Moonlight Sonata first movement, there's 3 parts. Right. The first one, it's so, I don't know, melancholy and almost like gives you like such a like Twilight kind of vibe. Mm-hmm. Not Twilight like the shitty book series, but
I know like it's like you're laying in the grass staring at the stars.
Yeah.
I could kiss you right now.
It's mutual. You got a really sexy voice, you know that.
I know when I hear like your spit crackle in my ears, I get those ASMR tingles that people talk about.
You know, I gotta drink some water.
Let's see what else we got. So when we went to the game store today, I was on a mission for Chrono Trigger. Mm-hmm. Lily, if you're listening to this right now, I know you've heard me talk about Chrono Trigger for the last like fucking week and a half, but it's not in my hands yet, so you're not going to stop hearing about it. Chrono Trigger, the classic JRPG that originally came out on the SNES. It is rare as fuck nowadays, and I went to the retro game store with my beautiful co-host today in the hopes to find a copy on the DS. And they did not have it. They sold it a week ago. But they did have Gex 64. Now, Gex 64, for those who don't know, is the best 3D platformer ever.
Undebatably.
Banjo-Kazooie is dog shit compared to Gex. Enter the Gecko.
Crash Bandicoot pales in comparison.
Fucking trash, dude. Absolute trash. But you got Shaq Fu.
Shaq Fu.
Complete. Yeah. Fucking minty condition.
In the box,
like,
man.
even looking at that cartridge, the label on that shit was, like, perfect.
Yeah, no,
it wasn't even faded at all.
Probably because no one wanted to play it.
Well, listen. Games like Shaq Fu, who the fuck comes up with that?
Right?
Like, what the fuck does Shaq have to do with anything food related?
See, that's the kind of thing I was talking about. Like, there's a period from like the 90s to like, I would say like 2010, maybe a little bit after 2010 probably. Mm-hmm. You could make anything. As far as like games and movies and just media in general, you could just make, you could and people did make just anything. Like, we were looking at the old DS games, and some of them are just the most random shit, just that you would just never want to play.
The sheer amount of shovelware that was released on the DS and Wii is just crazy.
And crazy. That's the kind of stuff that, like, I would never think that I would see today being made, you know?
Yeah, that's true. It has changed a lot. I mean, the shovelware most definitely exists, but I don't see it selling as much. Mm-hmm. You know, like, going to garage sales and shit, like, I've seen a million DSs at garage sales. Yeah. And they always, every single time, maybe there's a Mario game in there, but it's always those shovelware games. Like, the fucking Imagine Dress Designer, the fucking, like, Littlest Pet Shop shit. It's always the shovelware games. And it's so fascinating to me, just, like, how well those actually sold.
Like, how? Like I could never imagine buying these games, and I just don't understand how they sell and why people buy them.
I mean, I bought like some movie license games back in the day. Like, I know I played some of the Harry Potter games, the Lord of the Rings games. Mm-hmm. The Lord of the Rings games are actually good though. Yeah, those are actually fucking good. Underrated as fuck.
Definitely.
Two Towers is the best one. I
put a lot of time into Return of the King.
Yeah, you had it on PS2, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I had Two Towers on GameCube. That's what I played it on. And I remember as a kid, because I was so fucking little playing that GameCube, I like played that first level probably a million times. Like, I probably had it memorized at the fucking back of my hand at that time. Yeah, it was fucking crazy. But yeah, compared to today, I mean, even movie license games. Like, when's the last time you saw a movie license game come out?
That is a good question.
I mean, like, at least just, like, on the top of your head. Like, I'm sure there are some that come out, but, like, I don't know. I mean, even, like, something like Spider-Man 2, that game is actually, like, a super well-regarded game. Yeah. But nothing like that has ever come out again. I mean, you could argue, like, maybe Simpsons Hit and Run or something, but that was still in the same generation. That was PS2, GameCube, too. Mm-hmm. So... yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen one come out in a long time.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I think that with everything becoming so, like, in the public eye and everybody knowing what's going on all the time, I feel like none of these, like, low-quality games are, like, able to exist anymore.
Yeah, I suppose. With just, like, how immediate coverage it has of, like, this game is dog shit. Mm-hmm. Don't buy it.
It's, like, trashed before it's able to, like, get off the ground.
Right.
Like, right. It's in a different field, but what we saw with the Sonic movie, how everyone saw how garbage Sonic looked.
That was...
and we got it changed, so... right. And it looks a million times better. Right. So, like... I just could never... I don't know. Everyone's buying what's popular.
That's true. Yeah. Still Fortnite. Well, Fortnite is a whole different conglomerate. Like, maybe Fortnite is the sole reason why we haven't had those, because you can literally just take anything and put it in Fortnite. Mm-hmm. You know, whether it be emote, skin, fucking pickaxe, it's going to sell on Fortnite.
They just put Horizon Zero Dawn?
Yeah, they put Aloy from Horizon in there. Which, like... it's crazy to me that like when Master Chief got slapped in the game, it's fucking crazy that, like, I saw Master Chief in Fortnite before I saw Master Chief on the newest Xbox. Yeah, that's fucking crazy. And
that's the thing, we saw him on the new Xbox in Fortnite before he got his own game.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. With Halo Infinite, do you think it's going to come out good?
I don't know. I've got this saying that I live by. Keep my hopes high, but my expectations low.
Yeah.
So I don't get disappointed with things like that. I'm really hoping that it's a good game, but Halo has been kind of rocky lately.
Yeah.
They did good with the fixing the Master Chief Collection.
I was gonna say, I thought you were just gonna say the Master Chief Collection in general, but that shit was a train wreck for years.
It was bad
Until
at first, but they fixed it.
Oh shit.
I personally don't have any redeeming aspects for Halo 4.
I despise Halo 4.
But Halo 5, trash it if you would like, but I really enjoyed the multiplayer.
That's totally fair.
A lot of people, I think, really liked Warzone. It was never my thing.
Yeah. That mode, I feel like, has a lot of potential, but the way that they gatekeeped it with the... Like, you have to buy the fucking rec packs to get the weapons and whatever. And then it got to a point where, like, the best weapons were in the rec packs.
Yep.
They pulled a fucking Call of Duty on them.
Mm-hmm.
And that ruined the mode for me. I would say, like, launch Warzone in that game was fucking bomb when it first came out. I've always hated the campaign, though. I played through the whole thing. Literally the day that the game came out, I played through the entire campaign.
Yeah.
And... the way that they advertised it was fucking amazing. The marketing campaign for that game,
it had so much potential to be awesome.
That storyline could have been so fucking sick. That idea of, like, is Chief like the bad guy now?
Yeah.
And, like,
being like a rogue Spartan. Like,
yeah. It sounded so fucking cool. And then the game comes out and, like, there's like 4 Master Chief missions, and most of them are go talk to this person, then go talk to this person, then go talk to this person, cutscene, and then it's over. Or this was the cardinal sin for me. Like, you finally get to the point where Locke and Master Chief are gonna fight.
Yep.
And it's like, this is gonna be the coolest thing ever, and then it's a cutscene. You don't even actually fight.
I mean, it's cool to see the cinematic of them fighting. I think.
Well, yeah,
they're able to make it more
cinematic.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But which still it bothered me, because if we're being real here, Chief would have mopped the floor with Locke.
Without question. He's fucking Master Chief. The things that Master Chief has done in the previous Halo games, like, compared to fucking Locke's ass, bro, man. And what was retarded about that game, too, is, like, to understand how they got from Halo 4 to 5, there was, like, this fucking family tree of different things that you needed to, like, read or watch to get it. And, like, I'm a pretty big Halo fan. I've delved in the lore. You know, I've stuck my fucking toes in that pool. But when I hear that a game is coming out, I don't want a prerequisite. Here's this encyclopedia of shit that you need to consume before you can understand what's going on here. And, like, if it was like just the simple, you need to play the previous game to understand what's going on, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
But I don't want to watch all these fucking random ass videos and shit so I can play my game.
Yeah, I despise stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know?
I
just want to be able to play the game.
Yeah.
And understand it.
I tried playing Final Fantasy 15, and that game, like, when I initially started playing it, I didn't watch any, like, the prerequisite stuff. Like, I still understood what was going on, but it was a lot harder to get a grasp on it. So when I revisited the game, then I watched the prerequisite stuff, and it does make the experience better. But the whole time in the back of my head, it's like, man, I just really wish I didn't have to do this. And like with the game like Final Fantasy 15, that's a 40-hour RPG. You know, I got to soak my fucking heart and soul into this game to beat it. It takes so fucking long. So you add on another, like, chore for me to do.
Yeah.
Before that shit sucks, man.
See, I've wanted to get into Final Fantasy, but it's such a daunting task because there's so many of them, and I don't want to have to play through all of them. I don't know. Some people might say for certain games, for certain series, that you don't have to play the earlier ones. But that drives me nuts. Like, if I'm getting into a game series, I want to start from the beginning. Maybe that's just me.
Man, but Final Fantasy started on... I mean, people in the comments can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Final Fantasy started on the NES. And I think we've talked about this before. I don't think that NES games have aged well.
Yeah, no.
Like, playing an NES game today, to me, is either boring or unfair.
I totally agree there. I think the SNES personally holds up.
Yeah, for sure.
But the NES was obviously revolutionary or whatever. It was great at its time.
It's one of those things where, like, you have all the respect in the world for it, but just, like, compared to what we have today, it's just outclassed. And, I mean, all of those games... I mean, like, even with the Mario games... Like, you could say, like, oh, the Mario games were good, though. And, like, yeah, they were, but you can play the SNES version, and they're better.
Yeah.
You know? Like, it's still better than that. So, and for me, with RPGs, I'm not a big fan of turn-based combat. And I can do it if it's, you know, good enough. We had this conversation earlier, too, of, like, from my perspective, if I actually have to think and, you know, put my attacks or items wherever at the right time so that it's like I actually have to use my brain, not just mash the A button, that's cool. But the kicker for me is random encounters. Random encounters makes me want to blow my fucking brains out. I bought the original Final Fantasy VII because I started playing the remake and I thought it was cool. But with the remake, so the original... Now I have to go into the lore for this shit. The fucking the original Final Fantasy VII is like a 40-hour game. It's the entire story. The remake, it's like the first 10 hours of the original game stretched out to 40 hours.
Oh boy.
Right? So, to me, I was like, well, I actually like want to get into the story and these characters, but I don't want like this cliffhanger ending, whatever, in the remake. Like, I just want to play through the storyline. And there's, like, I heard complaints of, like, certain parts of the remake, like, parts that were literally, like, 5 seconds long in the original game are now, like, 2-hour parts.
Damn.
Yeah, so I went back to the original game. And I was playing it, and I thought it was fun. It's goofy as fuck. It's a fucking PS1 game. Looks like shit, but I loved it. I was totally into it. And then I started getting the random encounters. And that shit just completely tanked the experience for me.
Damn.
Because when you, like, for me as a player, if anybody's watched Nakey Jakey, he's got that, like, fucking gooey gamer brain shit, right? I need stuff to happen, but, like, not constantly, I guess.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like, if I'm getting from one place to another, I want to do that as fast as possible. I don't want constant random little fucking, like, slime balls and shit that I gotta kill every 2 seconds.
You want it to be smooth, you know? You want it to be seamless, not like...
Yeah. I don't want to be...
Go stop.
I don't want to be constantly reminded that I'm playing a video game. You know, I like to at least get myself in it a little bit.
Yeah.
That's why Dark Souls is the best game of all time. It's untouchable. I do think I'm almost done with my very first, like, completion run of Dark Souls. It might be in my top 3 favorite games,
right?
Like, ever, honestly. Like, I don't know what it was. People who are listening to this and have played Dark Souls and didn't like it, I really encourage you to try it again because it took a while for it to click for me.
My favorite type of game are games that challenge me and make me hate my life.
Yeah,
because
for sure.
The reward of getting better and getting through something is just unbeatable.
Absolutely.
And it may be super, super frustrating, and you may think it's super boring, but I promise you, when you finally beat a really hard boss, it is the best feeling.
There's no better feeling than that.
Like, I got super into Rainbow Six Siege, which has an incredibly high,
like a learning
entry
curve.
barrier.
Yeah.
It's really hard to learn, but I learned it. I put a lot of time into it, and now I think I'm...
And now it's one of those games that,
decent.
like, you can always go back to.
Yeah.
And that's one thing...
It's so rewarding to, like, when you go from, like, literally going... Oh, 0-6 every game to finally being able to like pick up some kills. It's the best feeling.
Yeah. And that's in Dark Souls too. When you go back to those areas of enemies that just absolutely fucking destroyed you earlier in the game, and now it's baby cakes, it's incredible.
Yeah.
It's absolutely incredible. Or, like, just finally getting that weapon that you've been looking for. Or, you know, or finding that invisible wall somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, that shit, it feels so good.
And I don't know. I think everybody who comes to Dark Souls, I think their instinct is to go with Dark Souls 3, and I think it's the most user-friendly game out of the Dark Souls series. It's probably the easiest one. It's the easiest, the most entertaining probably. But for me, I've always said that the first one is my favorite.
Honestly,
and when I say that, people kind of look at me weird. But it has this like charm to me, this like unpolished, like.
Well, I have to disagree with you there. Because I was on that wagon myself I thought that 3 was way better than 1. Mm-hmm. But now me soaking the amount of time that I have soaked into 1 and like really getting in with my fucking nails into this game, like it's really fucking special. And the amount of detail in that game, like I've never had a game that made me care about just like random shit. Like in Dark Souls, your healing thing, the Estus flask, it actually is built into the lore. Like the other players that invade your world, it's built into the lore. All of it is like all encompassing to immerse you into that game's world. And I haven't played a single game that does that the way that Dark Souls does.
Yeah, see, I agree with you. I'm not saying it's unpolished in a bad way, but I'm saying like it's like brutal to get into, you know.
Oh, for sure.
It's not like friendly to you. It's unpolished in the sense that it is just the most.
It doesn't hold your hand at all,
which I really appreciate. It's super like when you start up, it's super bare bones. There's very little instruction.
The only instruction you get in Dark Souls 1 is that like you need to kill things and here are the controls. Mm-hmm. And then you just have this like massive world which all connects, by the way. The first time that I came back to Firelink Shrine and realized that like I could get to everywhere on the map like walking, it blew my fucking mind. Mm-hmm. Like that's crazy. And also knowing that came out on the 360.
Yeah.
What? I told this to, I don't know who I was telling this to, but the creator of the game, when he's talking about Demon Souls, in Demon Souls, when you die, your health gets like cut in half.
Yeah.
Until you like become human again or whatever. And the guy who made the game was like, you can get your health back when you've proved that you don't need it anymore. And that's like the most like nuts to butts, like I need to beat this game. Mm-hmm. You know, like I know when I see those credits roll, it's gonna be euphoric for me.
Yeah,
it's gonna be crazy.
And I played Dark Souls originally on the 360 years and years ago. Yeah. I've never beaten or even gotten close to beating a Dark Souls game. It's my favorite. In my top 5 favorite game series, and Dark Souls 1 is probably in my top 5 favorite games.
Yeah.
And I now need to beat.
Yeah.
I need to beat it.
And me coming from the perspective of now getting farther than you in the game, I can confidently say that the game somehow gets better from like where you come from, you know?
Yeah.
So like I think that's a real testament to just the charm of that game.
Yeah.
And when I showed you the tits lady, I can't think of her name off the top of my head. Anybody who's played the game knows what I'm talking about, though, if you've gotten to this point. Like, just like those little glimpses of happiness in that fucking depressing ass game. Mm-hmm. It's just the feeling that you get from it is crazy.
Yeah,
absolutely crazy. Or like seeing Solaire, and he'll like meme on you a little bit. Like I took a clip once. I saw him and I was talking to him a bunch. And he's like, "Oh, you must like talking to me a lot." Oh, like you know, he's being a little gay with me. And like that was just so charming because up until that point, you know, getting to go and talk to Solaire, I was fucking like ham and fist getting shit up my ass.
One of the things I love about Dark Souls is you feel when you talk to like some of the NPCs, they talk so weird and they're speaking just gibberish 90% of the time. Yeah. You feel like the only sane person in like a psych ward, you know?
I also like how like a lot of the human characters like are actually like cheering you on. Mm-hmm. Like there's one guy, I don't know his name, he's a mage. And like you can rescue him and then he'll hang out in Firelink from then on. And like you go and talk to him again and like he'll like talk about how glad he is to see you and how he just hopes that you don't go hollow. And that's just like, man, it puts a smile on my face. I'm like, I got you, bro. I'm gonna save you. I got you. Yeah. But I don't know if it like in my brain it's still fresh. So I'm going to give it time before I say it's, like my favorite game or whatever. But it's close. Mm-hmm. It's real close. Like I'm getting the feeling that I'm getting from Dark Souls is the same feeling I'm getting when I watched Blade Runner for the first time. Yeah. Like just that like, holy shit, like this is something new and special to me. Mm-hmm. And like even just after like watching Blade Runner once, I was like, holy shit, like this feels like it was made for me. Yeah. It's the same thing with Dark Souls. I play this shit, I'm like, fuck, bro. This is literally catering to like every ounce of my taste. Mm-hmm. Of course, and at the end of the day, it's all objective, but highly, highly recommend you go try Dark Souls again. Anybody out there who's interested, because getting your ass kicked is worth it at the end of the day.
It is. Yeah. It is. The pain is temporary. The reward is forever.
Yeah, it is, bro. And like when I finally have that bragging right under my belt to say that I beat Dark Souls, like just having that for myself, I can finally feel like a gamer. Like, I got all the amiibos, I drink all the Mountain Dew, but I haven't beat Dark Souls yet. Once that comes, that's gonna be some shit. Why didn't the game store guy laugh at my Gex joke? I told Carson before we came back here after this. Funny. Yeah, I'm getting there. So. When we went to the game store, we're going back to this shit. Carson needed an N64 controller, right? So he grabbed like a wireless one because it was cool. Just like, fuck it, let's try it. And we went back into the whip. He cracks open the box, and it's dog shit. It's like made for an infant's hands. Yeah. And it was just bad. It wasn't a good controller.
The grips felt like it was made by somebody who did not have hands. Right. It was a double amputee made that controller.
Yeah. So we were still like there, just outside the store. So we went back in to ask if we could exchange it. And in that process, I made a joke saying like, at least I'm not returning Gex though. I'm not going to return Gex. And the guy was just kind of like, yeah. And then like continued doing his thing. Yeah, it was just so fucking painful. And I tried so hard to meme Gex with these people. And like the girl that was working was kind of feeling it because she, I guess, played Gex when she was a kid, supposedly. I don't think she remembered it very well, given that she's saying how wonderful it was. Yeah. Which I'm gonna take that back because Gex is the best.
Are you slandering Gex?
No, I would never slander Gex.
What is wrong with you,
bro? Unless you got Gex at your house, I ain't going.
No. That's right.
That's why we record the podcast in my house, because I have Gex. Yeah. The viewers can't see, but Gex is watching over us as we speak. The gecko himself. The N64, that shit smacks. Like, that era of games, it was so limited compared to, like, the PlayStation and stuff, because, like, they stuck to cartridges and all that bullshit. Yeah. But like, damn, bro, the games that came out on there, hit after hit after hit, fucking masterpiece after masterpiece. Yeah. They shit out 2 Zelda games on that bitch.
And they're both like,
and they're both god tier.
The highest.
Ocarina of Time is regarded as, from a lot of people, as literally the best game of all time.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, Super Mario 64, GoldenEye, fucking Diddy Kong Racing, underrated. That shit's better than Mario Kart 64. And motherfuckers get at me on that one. I will stand by that Diddy Kong Racing is better than Mario Kart 64.
Hey.
You're giving me a look like you disagree.
No, I ain't saying nothing.
I'm right, dude.
I ain't saying nothing.
Man, these motherfuckers. People say that Mario 64 is like the greatest fucking Mario game.
It's not.
You're old. You're
yeah.
either old or nostalgic, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I hate to break it, but
it's very, very rough.
Yeah.
It just does not control smoothly unless you're like some kind of expert in doing whack.
I will say, like, people who
combos
like really get good at that movement system, though, that's some cool shit. Those speedrunners are nuts.
Yeah.
Absolutely fucking nuts.
But for somebody who tries to have a life, it's just not easy to get into. It's just, no.
But not in like a Dark Souls way. It's literally in just like a jank.
Yeah,
like it's just
it's
fucking
outdated.
janky as shit.
It's outdated.
Yeah. Just like that N64 controller, man. That thing is... I love it to death.
I love the controller. I think the grips are actually comfy, but why is there a third one? Why is there a third one?
Yeah, I don't know, dude. And I think it's so funny that I don't remember which Mario Party it was. It might have just been the first one, but they had to like put like some fucking warnings on it, or like they included gloves or some shit with the game, because kids would like. There's a mini game where you have to rub the fucking joystick around really fast, and people were like blistering their fucking hands playing Mario Party doing that shit, and like, dude, redesign the controller.
Yeah,
I love it. Because it's so fucking goofy, Nintendo weird. But man, it's in a fucking...
I think if the joystick was a little better, it would help.
Yeah.
If there was only two
The one that you picked up today with that GameCube stick,
yeah,
instead of the normal stick, is pretty cool.
Yeah, so
you'll have to let me know how that turns out, because I'm very curious to see like how long it lasts compared to the normal one.
Yeah, so I mean, if you don't know, the Nintendo 64 joystick is crap. It's a tiny little knob that sticks into the controller.
It's got like some fucking like .8 pencil lead stick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
and after you use that thing for a while, the joystick goes completely limp dick, and flops around.
Yep.
And it, yeah.
Yeah. Or it gets sticky too. And not like fucking like Gamer Cheeto does sticky. It just like, it's just fucking how it ends up. Like the fucking gyro ball, whatever the fuck it's on in there. I don't know what's inside an N64 controller, but
yeah,
I'm just spitballing. But regardless, you know what I mean. It feels weird, man.
Yeah,
it's very weird.
But I'm not gonna talk and say that I know what I'm talking about. But was that the first system to put a joystick on a controller? Like that wasn't like a arcade
like
stick?
An arcade stick?
Yeah.
I don't know, actually.
I
mean, that generation of games, I think, is when it was like a mainstream thing. Where like all of them started doing that, because the PlayStation, I don't think it had a joystick on it when that first came out. They added that later.
Back on this, what the heck? I'm seeing your list here.
Yeah. What
happened to Macklemore? Can we talk about what happened to LMFAO?
Yo, did you know that it's like uncle and nephew?
What do you mean?
Like the Afro guy, is the other guy's uncle.
Really?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Isn't that kind of weird?
That is weird. But they made some of like the biggest hit bangers.
Yeah, they were
like ever.
Guys.
And then they were just gone.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to them. I want to say I read something somewhere that like the two of them were just kind of like, yeah, I don't really want to do this anymore. I think it was just kind of like a mutual like, eh.
I mean, I guess it's like cool that they dropped some absolute heat,
yeah,
and then dipped, because you can look back at those songs and be like,
yeah,
what
they
a
left
time.
At their peak.
What an era it was.
Yeah, that like late 2000s, early 2010s sound is so interesting to me.
Yeah.
Because like I mean, there's gonna be somebody out there that fucking like disagrees with me, but I don't know anybody personally that like listens to that generation of music outside of nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that pop sound, particularly. You know, like there's what's up?
I don't know. You got like weird sound.
Weird sounds.